What's going on, guys? Dave here, and welcome to Sports Reserve's explanation of our trailer that we had put out for our new series. I'm joined here by our co-host Mikey. What's going on, dude?
Hello.
In this video also we're going to be going through our league predict for the 2017-2018 season of the Premier League, but that will come after the explanation. So we're going to crack on straight away with this, and basically just to give you guys an insight of what's going on, we're making a new series called the League of Our Own, and it basically is us playing the Premier League season as the fixtures go and marking it up. So here's how it's going to work. Do you want to start with the first one, Mikey?
Yeah, well, we're going to be following the Premier League. So, say for example, Man United and Man City are playing on Saturday. We will release on the Saturday before the games kick off Man United versus Man City, and then Everton, Arsenal, blah blah blah, all on that day of that game. And what we'll do is we'll make our own league, which is the reason the League of Their Own. No wonder. If Arsenal win, they'll get 3 points, and at the end of the week we'll be tallying up. So we will in league. We'll play games as the actual Premier League, but we will be making our own league to basically see who's going to win the league there, who's going to get top four. It will just be Premier League, and we will be playing every single game, me and Dave. We may play the game sometimes, but it will be me and Dave commentating and playing every single game with every Premier League team throughout.
Yep. Also, to add to that, they're going to be recording each stat that we have. So say Morales scores for Everton, he'll get a goal towards the
top goal scorers
recorded stats. Yeah, so we'll be recording the likes of the top goal scorers, assists, clean sheets. I think we're doing yellow cards and red cards.
Yep, everything will be counted,
and they will be recorded based on how our performance. So say Matic for Man United, recent signing.
Breaking news.
He got a red card. He will not be available for the game, regardless of whether I'm playing as Man United the next game, Mikey's playing the next game. It'll all be recorded.
The only thing we're going to be following real-wise is injuries. If a player in real life gets injured, we have to take him out the team for the foreseeable. And we will be following the live feeds like on FIFA. This is going to go in from FIFA 7 to FIFA 18, and the live feed where the players are put up and down league tables, and the players that are playing well in their league.
Based on form.
Yeah, based on form. We will be using the form base on which the real league is coming. So we're basically just taking from the real league and at our own.
Yeah. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how that all works out, considering we have no real say as to who will win the league, who will get relegated, etc., etc. It's basically we're playing the fixtures that we have been put up against us, the real life fixtures of the Premier League, and say Crystal Palace beat United, or City or whatever, for all we know, Crystal Palace could win. We don't even, we have no say on it. We play the games that are given to us.
So we'll never be the same team like twice in this a week or 2 weeks.
Yeah,
it'll be
exactly.
I'll be Everton, he'll be Arsenal 1 week. Everton Arsenal play. I will be Arsenal.
So yeah, it's going to be an interesting crossover for us as well, because pretty much our first games on FIFA 18 will be the League of Our Own, because we need to keep up with the fixture list. So it's going to be an interesting crossover for us as well. So
yeah, we're jumping straight in, no waiting. We're just straight from FIFA 17 straight into FIFA 18, where we'll have no idea what we're doing.
And last of all, the comparison between the League of Our Own table, our predictions, which will be coming after this, and the real life table will happen at the end of the season, so we could see how far off we compared to our predictions as well as the real life table. So that's going to be a quite interesting one as well.
Yeah, so definitely
and obviously
come
we'll have
back for that.
We'll have like a tiny ceremony for the the top goal scorers of our league, assists and all that kind of stuff. So we'll have all that at the end of the season as well.
Well, stick with us for the whole year, for the whole season, because we're going right through it, and we're going to show you right now league predictions for the real life league.
Before we say that,
oh, sorry, I'm jumping
make
ahead.
sure. Sorry, no, yeah, it's fine. Make sure you guys keep your support up for your teams that are going to be in the Premier League this season, and make sure you comment and show your support for you as well.
Yes.
So that'll be
like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe and all that good jazz. Yeah. Follow us on the socials, etc. Sorry, you can continue now.
Yes, okay, right. Now we're going into our Premier League predictions, and I'm hoping your jazzy editing skills are going to be good, because it's going to come up right now. Boom, it's up.
Now.
And as you can see right in front of you right now, me and Dave's Premier League prediction, with Dave's lovely format there. Look at it, Everton Arsenal. Ooh.
Yeah,
so, so we're just going to talk from top to bottom, everybody that we've got. We're going to fire through them here, and I'm going to start right away with my bottom three, which is Burnley, Swansea and Huddersfield. I think Burnley have not signed well yet. They've signed ours and Phil Bardsley. They've lost Michael Keane. They've lost George Boyd. He's Scottish, he's sentimental, but I don't do well. Even though Sean Dyche is a good, I don't think they're going to do well. Swansea are going to lose Sigurdsson. He's going to go to Everton eventually. He's wanting to leave. No, potentially he is coming. They'll get him 50 million. He might be overpriced, but that's another video to talk about if he ends up coming. So I don't think they've another one that have not strengthened. They barely survived last season, and I think they're going to go down. Third one that I think is going to go down, which you can see, is Huddersfield. Another one, just nobody's bought enough in the bottom three there that I would merit staying in the Premier League. So Huddersfield, they'll be the novelty. Oh my God, look, this little teams came up. Watch the Huddersfield fans hate me for saying that, but I'm sorry, but they're just going to come up, and I think they'll be entertaining, but I don't think they're going to stay up.
Yeah, you see, I've gone with the same lot, to be honest. I've gone with Huddersfield to finish bottom, and it's with a heavy heart, because I'd love to see Huddersfield do well.
Same.
Being their first time in the Premier League, potentially in a long while or ever, I don't know.
I think it's his first time ever.
But I'd love to see them do well, but I just can't see it. I don't think they've bought well. Obviously, they had a massive package of money that they got when they got promoted, etc. And they've not really used it well at all. So there is that. And the same with Burnley. The same reason almost as Mike is that they've not really bought well. I mean, John Walters, he is an impact player. He's an impact player, but he's not.
He's a champion. He'd be a great player in the Championship.
He would, but he comes up with the goals when he needs them.
Yeah.
But no.
He should be in a relegation threatened team. Like, that's where he's going to get the most game time.
That's right. Yeah, and they've also you've left out Jack Cork as well. They brought for Swansea. Again, it's just not enough to. I don't think to counteract what they've let go, etc. And Swansea, almost the same again. Gylfi Sigurdsson, if he leaves, they're going to be in big trouble. I know they have the likes of Leroy. What's his name?
Leroy, I don't know who Leroy is.
Is it Leroy? Leroy Fer?
Yeah. Is he still there?
He's a good player. I think he's still there. He's a very good player, I think. Anyway, but if they don't replace Gylfi Sigurdsson, if they keep on making this go, over this period of time and asking for more and more money each time, I think they're going to be in real trouble if they actually do end up letting him go. So that is my be. It's the same as yours, but
yeah, same bottom
so
three.
we both think Huddersfield, Barnsley, and Burnley and Swansea are going to get relegated this season.
Yes. I'm going to go through another 5 here, where you can see on the left-hand side Brighton, Southampton, Newcastle, and Leicester. Brighton, I think out of all the teams that have came up, have the most new looking stadium, team, everything, and I think they might surprise a few people. I think Chris Hughton's a really good manager, really undervalued as a manager. He's done really well at Newcastle before, underappreciated there. Brought Brighton up, and I think they're going to do really well. They're bought safe, but nothing too extravagant, but I think it'll do enough just to keep them up. The manager there, I think he'll work his magic to keep them up. One above them, Southampton. Their unknown, not Premier League proven manager bought nobody. They already look like they're in disarray with the Van Dijk situation. They have a really good team, but under Pochettino and Coleman, there was never any, oh well, this player doesn't want to play, so they're all angry. It doesn't feel like a good atmosphere around Southampton, and I think for that, I think they're just going to stay up. I don't think, I could be wrong, but I just don't think they're going to do well this season. One just above them, Newcastle. I think Rafa is just going to do enough just to keep them up. I think the bottom 6 or 7 are going to be very close. I think they're going to be really tight. It's definitely going to be a last day thing. Newcastle will definitely do enough to stay up. I think Rafa made a couple of decent signings. They've managed to hold on to the majority of the team that brought them up in the Championship. And if they can keep Dwight Gale fit, he'll do well in the Premier League. He done well for Crystal Palace. It was always weird when they got rid of him, but he's been the main man in Newcastle, so hopefully he can actually do think he's a class player when he gets going. And the last one I will talk is Crystal Palace, who I don't know how they're going to do. I can't even. De Boer is their manager. Done horribly at Inter. Bought the Ajax centre back, who looks like a prospect. Looks good, fast.
Rodvold or something like that, isn't it?
I don't think. It's another one that I just think are going to through and stay up with the team that they have. They've got Benteke still, Zaha, 2 really good young players, not too old, so they're still to hit their prime. They've got Townsend, who started hitting the ground running again. They lost Mandanda, but with them, they seem to be determined to play Wayne Hennessy all the time. That might hinder them going down the line, but we just need to see what happens. So that's my next 4. So Dave, you want to tell them your next 4?
Yeah, I've got just scraping the relegation zone as they have done for the previous season, and I believe the season before that, is Crystal Palace. Again, they've let go of a lot of players, the likes of Steve Mandanda, Fraser Campbell, I know he didn't play much, but still, Matthew Flamini, Joe Ledley, and they've replaced him with only 2 of Ruben Loftus-Cheek on loan, which I think is a very good signing for them. And Jairo from Ajax. But again, that's not enough. I don't think it's not enough. They were in pretty much a lot of turmoil, weren't they, towards the end of the season, a bit like Sunderland were for the majority of the season last season. But yeah, I can't see them staying up staying up, just missing the relegation zone. Next I've got is Brighton. Again, another team I'd love to see do well. However, they haven't bought enough to stay in Premier League. With they bought Matthew Ryan from Valencia, goalkeeper, not too bad. Pascal Gross and Marcus Suttner from Ingolstadt. Exactly. Even a player from. But still, I don't think they've bolstered their team enough. I mean, they had reasonable players that could possibly do well in the Premier League, likes of what was the right midfielder's name French player.
Knockout.
Knockout, that's the one. Yeah, I don't think he's that bad and stuff like that. You know, obviously we'll have to wait and see, but I believe they're not gonna do that great. The next one I have Leicester City, another team that's not done particularly. Signing Harry Maguire, 50 million. What the hell is that? They bought Vicente Iborra, which I think is actually a very good signing, good CDM kind of player, and Kupovic from Hull as well. Yeah, I just think they had that miracle season, and then all of a sudden they just exactly, and then all of a sudden they've lost it again.
It has come
shouldn't surprise anybody.
No, it was never going to be a surprise.
Since they lost Kante.
Yeah.
Yeah, since they lost Kante, it's been, a heavy season for them last season. They could potentially lose Riyad Mahrez. I've heard that Ulloa's, possibly leaving as well. It's not looking great for them, and they've not replaced based on that. I mean, I suppose they've tried to buy Iborra to kind of replace Kante from last season, but yeah. I don't see that happening. Next I've got is Newcastle. Now I love Newcastle. They've bought reasonably well. They bought Manquillo from Atletico Madrid and Le Guen, I think it is, from Eibar, Atsu from Chaminade Dill.
Marino from Dortmund.
I don't think they. Yeah, I can't see them being like they were a couple of seasons ago. They were struggling to get points regardless. They've got no Sunderland, so they won't be losing 2 games there.
Nah.
Yeah, there's not much I can really say about Newcastle. I hope to do well again. I'd like to see all 3 promoted teams from last season do very well. But yeah. 14 I think is quite reasonable for Newcastle based on that.
Yeah, definitely.
Next is Southampton. Now they've signed literally nobody. They brought some guy from Lech Poznan that no one's ever heard of. They've lost Jay Rodriguez to West Brom, Cuco Martina to Everton. They've not done anything to their side. People may say that they've lost all these players over the period of 5 years or something, mostly to Liverpool. But
yeah.
I think they're going to be their turning point where they, don't do so well. Just because they've not bolstered enough, personally, in my opinion. So that's my that's my 13th to 17th.
Cool. Well,
back to you, Ben.
Flying through here, I will get the last ones up to the top 10 here. So I've got Leicester City, and just the same as Dave, they've not really bought enough to give them anything. They've still got a good team, Slimani, Jamie Vardy. They still have Mahrez now, but we'll need to see what happens there. Apart from that, they bought Iborra, which is a really good signing. I think they'll be very happy with just below the top 10. I think they'll probably stay up pretty comfortably. After that, I've got Stoke. Not really. Again, not a lot I can say about Stoke. They've got some really good players. Mark Hughes is a strange manager. Sometimes they can be really good. Other times they can look like
definitely
an old Mark Hughes team. Other times they can look like Barcelona. They don't know what style to play. It's like they panic when they're not doing well and go back to Tony Pulis football and put Crouch up front, and then straight after they're maybe playing Bojan up front like the season they did when they done really well. So they don't really know what they're doing. But another one, I think they'll stay up really, really comfortably. Just in front of them is West Brom. Talking to Tony Pulis, they had a fluke of a season last year. I don't care what anyone says. They shut up shop the entire season, and they had a few players like Chadley and Rondon and Gareth McCauley to score vital goals to keep them up. And then after they got to a certain point, where they could stay up, they just stopped playing football. Typical Tony Pulis. If anybody wants a relegation threatened side to stay up, you hire Tony Pulis or you hire Big Sam, because they're the two you got to keep you up, not somebody to take you any further forward. I give Big Sam the benefit of the doubt because he did do well at West Ham, he done well at Bolton, but Tony Pulis is the saved from relegation manager. He will not push any further. He won't push West Brom further forward, and he will sit very comfortably in mid-table. They will not get relegated. They will be totally fine. And then I'm going to go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th Bournemouth, who, when we'll realise we both have it 10th. Eddie Howe's class. They've signed Defoe, Ake and Begovic. They're going to do really well this season. Arsene Wenger's replacement, Eddie Howe, is going to do very well. Over to you.
Well, yeah, so I have got in 12th place, I've got Watford. What can I say about Watford that's, oh God, what am I doing here?
What are you doing?
I don't even know. Right, yeah, sorry, Watford. So, I think they've bought quite well, to be honest, Watford, but I can't see them cracking the top 10. They've got Will Hughes from Derby. He's been touted to be something, half decent.
He was.
Getting Tom Cleverley and Nathan Chalobah from Chelsea as well. I don't know. Watford's been okay, but they lost a few key players last season in the likes of Igalo and stuff like that. Still got Troy Deeney, I know, but there's not really much I could say about that other than I don't think they're going to finish in the top 10 personally. 11th, I've got the same as you, West Brom.
Oh yeah.
They've not bought great. I mean, they got Southampton's Jay Rodriguez, as I said in the last segment. But again, I think they may have lost a few players, Craig Gardner and Darren Fletcher. I mean, they're not big players, but they're very good at. They're just, yeah, exactly. But they're just like what you said. They're very defensive. So that's why I've put them in 11th place, just based on the fact that they can keep and they can shut out teams, especially. Well, they did quite well against big teams, if I'm not mistaken, last season as well. Yeah, really well. And they can, they can snatch points. That's what they've been very good at as of late, with Rondon up front, etc. So that's why I've got Brom in 11th. Bournemouth, on the other hand, it's the Eddie Howe factor, isn't it? It's very much the Eddie Howe factor. They've bought so well this season with Jermaine Defoe, Begovic, Ake. I can see them doing very well. I think they've still got Callum Wilson as well, haven't they?
Oh yeah, they do.
He was injured a bit last season. Stanislas, is it? Yeah, Stanislas. They've got a very good team, and they've bolstered their defence quite well with Nathan Ake and keeping Defoe up front. Like, he did absolutely great for Sunderland last season, despite them getting relegated. So I'm looking forward to seeing how well Bournemouth go, and that's why I've put them in 10th.
Awesome.
On to you.
Okay, well, I'm just going to rattle through these quick again. Watford, but it's the Silva factor. Look how well they had Hull playing at the end of the season. Yes, they got relegated, but they made Championship players look like Premier League players for that little while. They just didn't get over the line because they were so far up shit creek before he even came. I think the work rate that he'll instill on the Watford team will be really good, and I think they will push out into the top 10. Even if it's for one season, to see how they buy in January. Maybe they'll buy a couple more coming up, but we'll see how they do. After that, West Ham. They've bought phenomenal players in Chicharito and Arnautovic. And Joe Hart on loan. They have bought very well, really wisely, and they're going to have a cracking season. They've got the blues of the Olympic Stadium out the way. It was horrible, but they're going to start realising that it is their stadium. When they start making that place bounce, it's really going to take over. They finally have a player up front who can score goals. No more Zaza, no more Callegri, no more Ashley Fletcher. None of these players that are coming in and getting 1 goal a season, and they can't rely on Andy Carroll all the time. They have a proven goal scorer and a great goal scorer in that for really cheap, so I think they're going to do really well. Up above them, in not sixth place, in 7th place, Arsenal.
7th.
Yes, they bought Lacazette. I know that's a hurt one, I'm sorry. They bought Lacazette, they still have Ozil, they still have Sanchez for now. We'll see what happens. They bought the left back, Kolasinac, and I just don't think that everybody's like, oh, the season's over, it's fine, let's go start again. The Wenger factor's still going to be there. The negativity is still going to be there. Nothing will change. It's typical Arsenal, and I think they're going to even fall further until they realise that he has to go. I think this season Arsene Wenger will be sacked. On to 6th place,
bold.
Moneybags Man United. Another team that are basically West Brom 2.0. Mourinho can defend, but he has players that can score goals. He's a tactician. I think he'll concentrate way more in the Champions League. I can see Man United maybe winning the Champions League, but I think they will just do what they've done last season and totally forget about the league and finish 6th. And 5th, and a controversial decision to not put my own team Everton in the Champions League places, but I'm trying to be real here. We've bought really well, buying Rooney, Keane, Klaassen, Pickford, all these players that are first team talents. I just don't think we're going to have enough to break into the top 4. I think we're going to have a phenomenal season. Hopefully we can win a cup. If we win a cup and finish 5th, we will be delighted. I think we're going to be really strong this season. We could push the top 4. We really could, depending on how Spurs end up playing it, as you can see on the one there. So I think we're going to take 5th. We could edge 4th. And that is all of mine up to 5th. So on to you.
Right, okay, so I've got Stoke. Now, I've put Stoke up this high for the reason as they haven't bought very well. But they've not lost too many. I mean, I like the way they play, you know what I mean? And they've got so many good players. They've got the likes of Xherdan Shaqiri still, you know, who is I think is really class. I think it's really class. They've lost Marko Arnautovic. That's fair enough, but you know, it happens. You lose your good players, but I genuinely feel I haven't got any real excuse for this, but I honestly think they're going to finish in the top 10. In 8th, I've got West Ham, and the only reason why they're in 8th place is because the top 7 are so strong. They have bought so well. Any West Ham fans should be really proud of them. They've got Zabaleta on the free.
Oh yeah, Zabaleta.
Joe Hart on loan. You know, they've got an Arnautovic from Stoke, and Hernandez as well, who is a world-class signing for only 16 million. What is that? So, you know, they've bought very well, and they've not really got rid of any big players like Enem Valencia and, you know, Randolph to Middlesbrough. You know, they're not big players, and they've replaced them very well. So that's why I've got West Ham into 8th. Now into 7th, I've got Liverpool. And the reason why I've got Liverpool is because they've only bought, like, what, 1 player, is it? Oh no, 2 players now. They bought Robertson as well, didn't they? But I think they're going to struggle because they haven't really played Champions League in a while. And I think they're going to struggle for fitness. They haven't got enough players to rotate.
No.
Don't think that I don't think they've got a class team, because they really have. They really have. But they haven't got, as I say, the you know, the players that will happily sit on the bench but come off, you know, and play first team games when, you know, they need to rotate for fitness reasons. I think they're going to struggle on that behalf, and the fact that, again, they're going to want to make a statement in the Champions League as well. So that's my 7th place. I've got in 6th Manchester United. Again, they fought quite well, but the same pretty much reason as Liverpool, and as Mikey said, that they're going to be concentrating a lot on the Champions League because that's what Jose does.
Yes, it is.
They've got very good defensive players. They've added to that with Matic as well in recent days. So I really think they're gonna struggle to hit the top 5-4 because of the fact that they'll be concentrating too much on that. And again, they haven't got really a lot of rotation players like the same as Liverpool. So that's why I've got them in 6th. I've got Everton in 5th. Now, I've got Everton in 5th because I couldn't put Arsenal there. Basically, they have brought absolute class players in, and I can only see them doing well, and I hope they do well. If they get in the top 4, well played to them. They're using their money very well. They've got Wayne Rooney and Jordan Pickford, who was really good last season despite Sunderland getting relegated again. Davy Klaassen from Ajax, been touted to do well. Sandro Ramirez, Michael Keane, etc, etc. You know, I think they're going to really do well. The reason why also that I've put them in the top 5 is because they're not used to being in the top 4. Now,
that's true.
That may be a bit cliche. Cliche.
Bit Gale, it's a bit Gale cliche.
Bit Gale cliche, mate. You know, but yeah, they're not used to the pressure of the top 4, and I don't think they'll do well based on that. Like, you know, in the top 4. I mean, if they do, fantastic. Also, the likes of, you know, Klaassen and Sandro Ramirez, Michael Keane as well. You know, they're not used to being up there, so the pressure's going to be hard on them, especially as the majority of those players are going to be starters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The only one that really has the back-to-back winning mentality would be Klaassen.
Wayne Rooney.
And Rooney.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out, you know, but that's the reason why I've got them in 5th. And now to the top 4.
The top 4, which are just totally different and weird, and I'm going to just give you my top 4 right now. 4th, Tottenham. They're going to really struggle with Wembley, but I think after they get over the hump of it, which they will do very fast because they're a much better side than West Ham, I think they're really going to hit the ground running again. I think they're going to be disappointed to see them finishing 4th if it did happen, but they will get Champions League football. I think they're just the team with Harry Kane. There's nothing really you can say. They haven't bought anyone yet, which is a bit strange, and they've lost Kyle Walker, but I think with Kieran Trippier in, I think they'll be totally fine. 3rd place, which is a big jump for between me and Dave's, is Liverpool. I think the Klopp factor is going to be huge. I would not be surprised if Liverpool won the league this season. That's how much of influence I think Klopp has as manager. I hate saying that Liverpool could win the league, but I think they will. So, being an Everton fan, it's horrible to say, but with the players that they have at their disposal, with Mane and Salah on the wings, Solanke looking like this diamond that nobody's ever noticed in Chelsea, because Chelsea don't know what to do with young players. He's looking an absolute star. I know it's in pre-season, but they'll be really looking forward to it. They will probably get Champions League, whoever they get in the qualifiers, but I think they'll finish 3rd, but I could be wrong, and if I am wrong, they will finish higher. 2nd place, Chelsea. Conte again, and I think it's going to be a Champions League thing. He's really going to want to win the Champions League and the league, and I think he's just going to fall short. with the fact that Morata isn't Premier League proven, I think he may struggle to get as many goals as Diego Costa has over his Chelsea career. Costa obviously leaving to go to Atletico probably. I think it's just going to be another one of these seasons where Chelsea play really well, but they're going to be outdone by who I think will be the champions. As you can see at the top there, Manchester City. My God, these guys have spent an absolute hell ton of money. They have bought some of the best players over Europe in every position that they're looking for, with Bernardo Silva, Ederson, Kyle Walker, and this Brazilian guy up front.
Bernardo Silva.
I said him. They've bought everybody.
Right.
Mendy for Monaco. They have bought all these players, all these winners into their teams to improve. And I think they won't even be done there with the transfers. But with Pep now having his unlimited budget and the third unlimited budget team he's been at, I think he has to deliver the Premier League trophy, and I think he will do it. And that is why I think Man City will win the league. I think they will the money and the funds that they're getting, and by having a great manager behind them. He's had his first season where he struggled a little bit, but they started really well. It's out the way now. They've got Gabriel Jesus, they've got Aguero, they've got all these players still there, and they've improved the squad with their crazy money. So that is my Premier League, and now Dave to give you his end and say why he thinks that that's going to be his top 4.
Well, okay, so my top 4 is from 4th to 1st. Arsenal. I think they're going to get 4th just on the basis as the same as Everton, but the reversal. A lot of these players, we've only brought 2 players in, and the majority of the players are used to being in the top 4. And Arsene Wenger, I believe, is going to push for them to be in that position. I don't think they, I think they're going to play a very, very weakened squad in the Europa League. I think that's what they're going to do. And if they get knocked out, they get knocked out. I believe they'll go in to win it, but I don't think they're going to be playing a very strong squad like they did in the Champions League last season. They'll be playing, a lot of youth prospects, likes of Reece Nelson, who was absolutely golden in the pre-season. And Bramall, I think it was as well. It's going to be interesting. I think they still need a few more signings. At least 1, maybe 2. But we'll have to wait and see on that. But I think Arsenal's going to finish in 4th again and regain their first spot of 4th. And that's coming from an Arsenal fan. In 3rd place, I have got Spurs, giving us the St Totteringham's day again. But that's because they haven't really got rid of anybody of note. I mean, they've got rid of Kyle Walker, and that is a big player to get rid of, I think. And it's a very odd one because I think he's better than Trippier. But each to their own. Spurs have got rid of him. They're going to be playing at Wembley, which I think is going to hinder their season quite a fair bit. Come and think about it, I didn't actually think of that when I actually did this prediction, but still, they failed to win any game at Wembley last season in their Champions League run. So, yeah, I don't know why I've got Spurs there, but I'm giving Spurs 3rd place. And they haven't bought anyone, that's the main thing as well. In 2nd place, I have got Manchester City. Now, it's all well and good you buying all these players. It is all well and good. But when they have not got any Premier League proven, talent, per se, the likes of Danilo, Mendy, Bernardo Silva, Ederson, they've not played in the Premier League. They don't know the pressures, and they're all from, Monaco and Benfica, very low like, you know, they're in very low leagues. You know, the Liga NOS and the Liga. Danilo, he didn't play much last season. You know, and Kyle Walker, he's the only Premier League proven player. You know, as well as that, as I was going on to, they've bought so many players that they're going to need time to gel. Yeah, they smashed Real Madrid. I think it was 4-1, I believe, or something like that. You know, and so but that's pre-season. When the pressure gets on, I don't think they're going to be, you know, as solid as people think. They have got an absolute ton of great players that are, you know, just kicking around their reserves and their sub bench. You know, I mean, they could play obviously, but yeah, I can't see them winning the league. However, I do think they will do very well in the Champions League, possibly even winning it. And then there's obviously, yeah, I know. Chelsea is the next one, and I think they're going to do the best out of everyone. They've bought very well. Again, they've bought 3 players of note. I mean, Caballero is not really a player of note. He's obviously a sub-keeper to Thibaut Courtois. But Alvaro Morata, despite his price tag, I think he's a very good player. He done very well at Juve. He did very well last season, considering the amount of games he played last season.
Definitely.
And yeah, and I think he's a good player because we called it.
yes, we did. We called it on the video.
The next one is Antonio Rudiger. I think he's a very good player. He could play on the right back position. He could play on the centre back position. He's a strong, quick centre back, very tall. I think 6'2". I think he's going to be a very, very good player. I don't know how he's going to fit in with the likes of Gary Cahill and David Luiz, Azpilicueta. I don't know how it's all going to work like that, but it's a good player to have anyway. And then Bakayoko, I'm not going to try and pronounce his first name because it's impossible. But Bakayoko, playing alongside Kante, they're going to be the most defensive team around. If they're still playing the 3 at the back with 2 wing backs, Bakayoko, Kante in the middle, obviously replacing Matic, they're going to be solid, absolutely solid. And then they've got Morata up front. They'll have Willian, Eden Hazard. Their team is going to be almost unplayable unless teams this season figure out the 3-4-3 formation. They're going to struggle. So that's why I've got Chelsea to win the league this season. And there it is. There's our predictions.
That is the video for today. We have given you the League of Our Own explanation of everything is going to be. That will be kicking off on the Friday the 11th, which is Arsenal Leicester. That video will be up on the 11th. And then the Saturday, all the other games will be up. We will be showing the Arsenal game in full on the 11th.
Yep.
When there's just one game, we will just be showing one. So I hope you tune in for that, and tune in for all our other videos that we're going to be doing over the course of when FIFA 18 comes out. We're going to be doing Ultimate Team and a career and Road to Glories and everything else. So we hope you stick around for that, and we will see you later.
Get pack openings.
And pack openings. See you later.